Okay, that's a wrap.
Thank you, sir.
Kevin Harrrington, yo. Groovalicious, John, my guy. These are my guys. All right.
Shout out to Nancy Marie with the intro.
Of course.
And edits is Fernando does all the visual.
Yep. She's gonna do all my stuff. I haven't done any videos at Nancy. That's why I'm waiting to get the budget right. You're gonna do my stuff, trust me. Yeah. Yo, man, what was the inspiration for that?
Sometimes it just depends on what hits me, because that's the use of experiment, because I'm liable to do anything. So because of our era, we exposed to all kinds of music. I actually have done a country song.
Right.
It's on the funkier side, but still, it's the country. But yeah. So it depends. Like the next release that I got coming out, I got a single coming out on the 25th. It's basically dedicated memory of my sister.
Okay.
Because she's the one that took me to my first concert. And yeah. So it depends. Like I mean, the crazy thing is, like you said, is Groovalicious playing on there, and listen to how smooth he is, but then listen to us on Nappy Head stuff, So
and United We Stand.
Right.
That's Andy, but then he did Funkin' on the Egg, the new thing I did.
Right. So that's the thing, because even John's project is the same thing. He's got smooth stuff on there, and then he's got hard, edgy stuff. Is a tune I wrote back in the day when we was playing in the band called Vision of the Black Swan.
Yeah.
It's a straight fusion song.
Yeah. I heard that. I heard that. Yes. That should, that song is dope. The thing about John Groovalicious, and we're going to shout him out for a second. Willis, man, I love you, Jay. He's one of the greatest guitar players I've ever played with. And I done played with a lot of good ones. This guy, it can't be, it's it's so hard to describe someone that puts juice in the lemonade. You know what I'm saying? He's got some juice that he just does that no one else can do.
Yeah, he's my go-to guy, because I could pretty much, with John, I go, yo, John, man, I need something and I could just move my shoulders and he'll get it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, I know.
Yeah.
And he'll get it, man.
Yeah.
So he's always like the guy. And again, because of he could play basically any genre.
Yeah.
Like John's the guitar player on basically on all my stuff.
Yeah. Right. See, and this is why, I'm using some guys here for some things, but when my guy down here, Mo, I said, I'm sending this up. And then, Jeff, you, John, I was like, I'm sending this to the cats, my go-to guys, besides myself, because I don't have to tell you guys, hey, I want XYZ. I'm like, here is the canvas, paint on it. you know, and that's what always I was so grateful, you know, to meet you guys, and Pearl turned me on to you, and then Don, and then you, and then Prez. And by the way, shout out to Prez. He got a new project. He's working with this amazing artist. I saw it on Facebook. So Prez, if you watch it, man, I ain't sleeping. When you're ready, man, get on the show. I got you covered, bro. Or any Nappy Head alumni, we got y'all, man, because this is still family. Always gonna be Nappy Head Funk Army family, man. So I wanted to ask you, we got another one coming up. We're hanging out with Kevin today, man. Your granddaughter, that was her, right? At the end?
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
That's my heart, man. She's so much bigger than that now, though.
Gotta love it, man. Saxy, what is it, Mark? Saxy Cool?
Funky Saxy Cool.
Funky Saxy Cool. We're gonna run that. Okay, Funky Saxy Cool. Kevin Harrrington, KHX Entertainment, Canaan Jams, The Experiment. Here we go. Funky Saxy Cool. Let's rock with this, Mark.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Saxy cool. Yo, who's the sax player?
That's Roy Richardson Jr. He's out of Trenton.
Okay.
Me and him used to tour together, so he's my go-to when it comes to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I told him to basically shoot black-owned businesses in Trenton.
Okay.
And his wife actually shot the footage because I was like, look, y'all go and shoot and send it to me. And again, New City Edits went and just did something with it.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, it's you can't always. There's not always the budget. There's not always. I was like, so y'all just go out and shoot the hot spots, black-owned businesses, and so we could show them some love, and this is how it came out.
Like first of all, kudos to you for doing what you do, and shout out to all the peeps that work with you, because Nancy, of course, and all these other brothers and sisters, because see, this is why God is so good. And this is not pushing God on anybody. I don't care if y'all believe or not. I know what I believe, right? This is why God is so good, because here we are, and we're going to get into this in a minute, the gatekeepers, and we still producing quality stuff no matter what. And to be able to chat about it, turn people onto it, spread peace and love through our music, which is what the ultimate light wants us to do, is a blessing unto itself. And sometimes I myself fall short of that. And when I do these kind of shows, it always reminds me of what my purpose and my goal is. So I thank you for that, and everybody that you shoot in your videos, because it gives me inspiration. Because there are so many times when the devil will try to creep in and lie to me and tell me, oh, stop. Oh, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, you wasted your time. Oh,
yeah. The enemy's going to always get in your head.
Exactly. Always. And Jeff was on the show a month ago, and we talked about it. He said the same thing you said about success. He said measured success comes from within. He said, so you can't never measure someone's success, because whatever they're doing is successful. One thing why I like your music, besides everything you do, I don't have to worry about the song stopping at 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I got up, I walked around, I'm listening now, but I was able to get shit done right now, live on the show. I was backstage just doing shit, getting stuff done while I'm jamming. See, that's the quality, the food. That's what we need. Yeah. How come you think the industry won't allow the artists today to feed us?
Well, I mean, because again, here comes the business part of that, right? So there's radio edits. There's video. That video is usually going to be your length, right? But again, it's about the money. Advertising dollars and stuff's on radio, so they want to play usually as much as they can, or whoever paying them. The payola part is real. Has always been there. So at most they're going, okay, nothing over 309, 310. Certain places might be even a little shorter, because they want to cram however many they can into a show. So on the business side, I get that. That's why there's so many different edits. What most, the public doesn't understand, when you do a track, most of the time, there's a bunch of different edits for that. There may be the explicit lyric edit.
Yeah.
Then there's the radio version. Then there's instrumental. Then there's depending on artists, like a lot of time with jazz artists, there's an import version.
Yeah.
You may hear something overseas and go, hey, wait a minute, I never heard that version of the tune. Because they made it for that. Like, okay, in Europe, they got a different standard.
Yeah.
I can get this played over there, but they ain't gonna play this in the States. Complain about it's too long and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, that's how it is. But like you said, being fed, the system doesn't want any smart sheep. So I just leave it at that.
That's right. That's right.
Anything that's trying to educate is attacked.
Yeah. We have this genre now, and it's like, I don't want to say neo soul jazz kind of thing, but it's kind of like that. and you know, a lot of the artists, these younger soul artists that are jazz cats, they're actually doing this style of music now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's got its own Spotify, the soul thing or whatever. What do you think about this style that these guys and girls are sliding into? That's a cross between the bebop hip hop and some of the jazz chords that they may have heard Stevie Wonder do, or you know, somebody in that era. Because I'm starting to hear this trend, underground trend.
I got nothing against evolution, man. It needs to grow. It needs to evolve. So if somebody now hears that, because again, that's what fusion was.
Yeah.
You know, but now they're just fusing something different into that. And I think a lot of it has to do with, so let's take Donald Blackman, you know, rest in peace, Donald.
Yes.
Donald came out the church. But Donald was a jazz head and a folk head.
Yeah.
And it showed in his writing and his playing.
Yes.
Because when he was solo, that was straight bebop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when you listen to him playing his stuff, that's some bebop to where keyboard players is like, you got to be kidding me. I'm not expecting to hear that kind of solo over this funk groove. So there goes the different backgrounds. Yeah. So the kids today, you know, they come up in hip hop because, you know, I laugh about that all the time. I go, yeah, but so did we. You know what I'm saying? Is that so did we? When they go, we came up, I go, but so did we, because we was there when it started.
That's right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So we've heard the evolvement from the beginning.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
So, you know, I get it where they go, okay, I want to throw a hip hop beat over this. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
You know, but again, like they were saying, like I know Chuck D was talking about that. Why did they use certain type of beats? Like he likes the energy of rock music.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know, because again, for them, this is like, yeah, well, this is what we had because this is some of this stuff is pre-drum machine.
Yeah, exactly.
So they had to go by what samples they could get.
That's right. That's right.
If you wasn't sampling James Brown, then who was you sampling?
Yeah.
So some of them started taking, like you said, the bottom they started getting from the rock stuff.
Yeah.
Because of the energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it's, you know, Robert Glasper and what they're doing. The whole neo soul stuff is using jazz chords.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know, which I always loved. What's the rap group that I always me and my brother were just talking about the other day? Guru. He passed on.
Yeah.
But his father was a known jazz cat.
Yeah, yeah.
So all their music was based in that.
Yeah, yeah.
With hip hop beats.
That's right. I was listening to Michelle, and let me try to get this right. Ndege Ocello.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Christy. Right? Because you know my dyslexia, Kev. So I actually had her write it down for me.
Yeah,
so
man.
I wouldn't screw it up. But I listened to her new stuff, and she took some of Bob Marley's stuff and played with it. And then she also did a version of Atomic Dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yo, bro. Right. She's one of my favorite superstars that's unknown and humble like you, superstar. I got to try to talk to this woman on my show. So if you know anybody that reaches out to her, please have her reach out to me. Because I want to ask her, like I would ask you. I listen to what she does, and I'm like, how are you even thinking of this stuff?
Yeah. She's a creative person. Because you remember even her own first album, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You could hear her approach to things like, yo, she's thinking, as they would say, outside the box. But then a lot of times you could hear, again, because we've been around.
Yeah.
When people say somebody's outside the box, no sooner I can recognize something, then it wasn't outside the box for me.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I'm not gonna, you know, it's no judgment, but I was like, oh yeah, I know where that's from.
That's right.
I get the vibe of it.
That's right. That song when she did Ride the Subway, doom, doom, and it actually put you on the subway. Right. You know what I'm saying? The Project Train, doom, right. That album was so dope to me. I still listen to that today.
Yeah.
That because when she's like, I was like, doggone it, I'm on the train, man. You know, you could feel in her music the rocking and swaying, you know, in the Project Train. I was like, holy, now that's powerful.
Yeah,
powerful
I got to meet her on the road. She's a deep chick. Yes, I mean, like back when she did the Girlfriend, like those grooves was crazy.
I thought that was Skeet at first. I was like, what, did Skeet get in another group?
The grooves was crazy, and just her approach to it. And so that whole like almost poetry thing vibe that she was giving it.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I'm not saying that music is missing. It's just that radio's not touching it.
That's right, yo.
You know, again, I got to give the respect to Europe. They basically open the door. They keep everything playing.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
United States is so money based. You know, if we don't think it's gonna make us any money, then we ain't doing it.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because Nappy Head, and you part of that, we in Ireland, Italy, Sweden, and Germany all the time. We in their rotations on all those internet
they
shows.
Appreciate music, man.
Yes, they do.
That's the thing. They come out to hear music.
Yep.
Not really genre specific. It's like, yo, I just want to hear good music.
Right. I just want to hear the music.
Right. And their open door to like turn me on to something that I never heard before. Turn me on to something new.
Give me,
like,
feed me.
I've never heard them. I want to go check them out.
Feed me. The palette. Yo, Wayman Tisdale, of course. Shout out to brother Tisdale.
Yes. Yeah, he was underrated. Yep.
Oh my God, yes, he was.
So
Tisdale, man, he because Marcus tells the story on YouTube. Marcus said, "Oh, he's so cute. The basketball player sent me a tape, and then he put it on. He's like." But see, people don't know Wayman Tisdale had been playing bass all along in college,
right?
Oklahoma. He said he used to take his bass on the road
and played in his father's church before he went to school.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. His music, I got him in my playlist. You better have him, Wayman Tisdale.
Yeah, I remember I first heard something he redid a Kool and the Gang tune, and he was on our way from the hotel to a show, and the driver, he was an Indian dude. He says, "I really like this. Do you guys like this?" And we was like, "Who is this?" And they said Wayman Tisdale. I was like, "Oh man!"
Yeah,
but I was looking at the fact that this guy liked it.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And you know, I've dug. You know, I don't think he made a bad project. I always liked everything that he did.
I like all his stuff, man. I seen him live, man. Yo, the brother. First of all, being a basketball player, his hands were so big. But how he heard music, and once in a while, somebody can take a song that was a hit and do it in a fusion jazz way, and you'd be like, all right, that's cool. I love it. It'll stand on its own. But he did so many like that elevated in a different way those types of songs. Like when he does That's the Way of the World, or he does these things, and then he takes these incredible solos that are so Wayman Tisdale-ish.
Right.
You know, and then his band that he put together, he really thought about this because he put together a band that would fill in all of those spots that allowed him to do what he does. So you're right. Whoever brought that comment up, thank you. This is why it's so important to stay active on these comment shows, because we're feeding each other food. And getting back to that, Kev, I agree, man. It's like we don't feed each other. The record companies don't want it, but we got to keep the underground alive. So we're going to do everything we can. Mr. Mark Lee, jump. Oh, no, go ahead. Finish, and then I'll bring Mark in.
No, I was saying that again, we're in a great time because you could be your own record label. You know what I'm saying? So that has to be the mindset. Is right now you got worldwide distribution. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that when we was coming up. So you know, I mean, you had to pull together money just to go to the studio because the tape was $200.
Yeah, that's right.
So I always said that we had the technology when we was coming up. Plenty of the local bands we knew would have been out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it wasn't about, okay, so in about a month and a half, we'll have the money to buy the tape.
Right.
Now we got to save up to get the hours.
right. Yo, always the struggle. You know, somebody asked me once, I was driving Uber. Y'all know I drive Uber for a living. Right. And he said, what's like, why is it so expensive to do what you do? And I said, bruh, he asked me, he said, if it was one thing that I could get a lump sum of money for to do, would it be recording? I said, no, it would be for rehearsal spots. I said, I can scrape recording money. I said, but rehearsal spots, bro, that can fit and have what you need that's quality. He said, I told him, I said, that is costly. He said, wow, I never thought about it like that. Right. And I told him, I was like, do you think bands just like, okay, we're going to play today and that's it? You know, I said we got to rehearse months sometimes for a show.
Right. And again, we came up in when you still living at home, everybody had a basement.
Yeah.
Some days is gone. So you know what I'm saying? It was no cost for rehearsal back then.
Yep.
Now, like you said, it's like, yo, where do bands rehearse?
Yep.
You know, so many places closed, you know, when COVID shut them down.
That's right.
So that's my thing. I'm like, wow, where do bands even rehearse now?
That's right. And you and I talked about starting the place. We still going to do that. I'm going to manifest that.
Yeah, man.
We talked about this.
That's an investment that will definitely pay off, especially if you're in a musical area.
Yep.
And like you said,
this place, we rehearsed. Shout out to Rollywood Studios. I didn't mean to cut you up, but we rehearsed down here and there, and they got the whole video thing set up. They got like professional people come in, they shoot videos, rehearse. It's a nice spot. So shout out to Rollywood. We rehearse there all the time. Not for Army. I didn't mean to cut you, Kevin.
Yeah. Like I was saying though, we are in technology-wise a great time because, like you were saying, we can't depend on a major label because here's the thing: if they see you making money, hey. So now you can maybe go, hey, let's talk partnership. You know, because they did it in hip hop. When these guys were selling out the trunk of their cars, they didn't need them. So here comes the label. Oh, we need to get into some of this money.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. But again, you get worldwide distribution from some of these companies. You know, CD Baby, however you're going to do it. At the same time, you could broadcast your show from North Carolina around the world.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that before.
Yeah.
So imagine the new, you know, the ears and the new people that now can get turned on to you just from a Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So this is definitely one of the greatest times because I told any musician, if you ever wanted to release your own thing, there's no better time than now. You don't need a label.
That's right.
I mean, most people have equipment in their house.
Yeah.
You know, kids is doing stuff on Sony PlayStations.
Yeah.
With the music. They got apps for people doing them on their phones. So there's really no excuse not to be able to release something.
That's right.
You know, you got DistroKid for $20 a year. You can put out all the music you want.
That's what I'm on. I'm on DistroKid. Shout out.
Yeah. It can't be no easier. Now, the live thing is still an issue.
Yes.
Because this is where the money comes in. It costs some money to still put on a show. You know, and like you said, so just rehearsal alone. You know, that cats need to get paid. And so this is where if a budget needs to go to that and promotion.
Yeah.
If anything, the least of your money should be spent recording, making the music. Yeah. Because the technology is just too easy now.
That's right.
You know,
people
got Pro Tools in your house. So why are you paying the studio $200 an hour?
Yeah.
For the same thing.
That's right.
And you know, they got $10,000 mics.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, man, technology got stuff that's making that stuff sound the same.
Yep.
You know, I got all that stuff. Oh, okay, a mic modeler?
Yep.
Which mic you wanted to sound like?
Yep, that's right. That's why my guy Mo, we work well down here together. People they hear the project, they like, wow, it's so big. I was like, yo, I tell the secret to some people, like, yo, it's just me and my dude. We just sitting in there doing stuff.
Y'all doing it, man.
Making deals.
Shout out to your band, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell the drummer I enjoy his groove, man. You know, I'll be checking y'all out, and the bass player. They play well together.
Yeah, thank you.
Your man that's in the studio with you, man, he doing it. Because I'll be listening to us, because you know I tear stuff apart.
I know you do. That's why I send it.
I'll be like, wow, man. I said, listen how the horns is up in there. And you know, and I always know what's you though. I was like, because you know the funk dude is in there. So I said, I'm so happy for you that you found that you found these cats, man.
He definitely found his niche.
Come on in, man. Join us,
Kevin, just a quick question for you and everything, because I'm admiring a lot of the new music. Of course, Zach does amazing jobs, and there are some other ones that are doing some great jobs as well. But some of this technologically driven music, I'm also remembering some of the musicians of old, because I'm not exactly a spring chicken, but I'm going there were some folks that were doing some of this innovative work even before we started talking about it being innovative, because I started thinking about like Herbie Hancock and a person that had connections to this area, North Carolina, that being Donna Bird. So I just wanted your thoughts around Donna Bird and Blackbird, because they definitely had that New York side, but they were also having a North Carolina tie with him having that NCCU connection, which was basically a jazz funk band back in the 70s.
Right. So the Blackbirds, and again, this is where us coming up, listen, I remember hearing them, the Blackbirds, and it was so many groups out, and they were very unique to their sound. Like when they would come on, you knew who it was.
Right.
Opposed to now, you got to go, who is that? I got to hear something before I know it. And everybody had their own vibe. It may have been because of where they came from, like the funk coming out of Dayton, Ohio, like they had a certain sound, opposed to Jamaica funk, opposed to what down what the Blackbirds were doing. And I just think that, like you said, people don't realize them coming out of North Carolina is like what happened after them. So you really don't hear nothing until Fantasia, what was her cousin's Jodeci.
Jodeci,
coming out of North Carolina. And I kind of think that North Carolina hasn't even scratched the surface.
Right.
Yeah, we trying, man. I'm pushing.
It's it's always been known for gospel.
Right.
But my brother who's been down there since junior high school, me and him used to talk, because we always wanted to set something up. I was like, yo, man, North Carolina is full of talent. Full of talent. Not just the gospel. I said, but then imagine, a lot of them that sing, they're singing at church because that's where they can sing.
Yeah.
And I just, again, with the movie industry down there, I just think that North Carolina, I don't know if it's going to be the next one, because again, it has to get organized, but it's what Atlanta was. I think North Carolina could be that.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
The talent is there.
I agree 100% because I'm working with Oak City Music Collective, and we slowly but surely making moves. And I'm tight with them. Diego, shout out Tammy, love y'all. And it's like what you just said is what some of us down here see. Right. It's just that we got to try, and this is straight up. When I do my show next Friday, right, and this ain't got nothing to do with race, I'm gonna do a show. We headlining down here at what's the name of this, Mark?
Pinhook.
Oh, the Pinhook, right. So my audience will be all hippies, all white and Latino hippies, Asian American hippies, Jamaicans, but my black core people down here won't come out and support it. And this is an issue. That's why when you said North Carolina can be that, if we could just get that last coalition of people to buy in, instead of being stuck in their ways, loosen up and buy into what we're doing. If they still want to play Hole in the Wall and stuff like that, that's beautiful because you tributing that. That's great. But we could make it better for you if you get on shows with us. You could still do that and do your thing, and then bring the crowds together. Bring your crowd, that soul, Sam and Dave, stuff like that. Bring it all. And then let's just put it in one package. That's where we're close, Kev. And I'm telling you, we need somebody like you down here to help do that.
Yeah, man. And people need to realize the GOAT, it'll, between him and Bird, it depends on who you want. But Coltrane is from North Carolina.
Yes.
Right there.
Coltrane's from here. Thelonious Monk's from here. There are a number of great jazz folks that were from here and definitely had those roots. Even Roberta Flack had some North Carolina roots, but they were scattered throughout the state and everything and all in that line. One thing, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, but I have a friend of mine that does another podcast, and y'all kind of alluded to it, but he starts off with an intro and he talks about that box that y'all were talking about and thinking outside the box. And his tagline is, and he's actually speaking in Africa at the time, is, I got news for y'all. There is no box. Right. So it's like that maybe we need to get out of this box mentality.
Right. Because you should be able to do, again, that's why I'm saying like the experiment. I should be able to do whatever music I want to.
Right.
Whatever I'm feeling. But again, like, Zach was saying, when you deal with a label, okay, because, my first project, Bass, Rose, and Groove, right? I had house, smooth jazz, and whatever I wanted on it. Now, when I'm going to the radio stations, pick a lane.
Yep.
Pick a lane. But again, back when we was coming up, you could have sent it to one radio station. They would have played everything you had if they liked it.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't matter. But that's not what they do now. But like you said, what's the name with the funk show? It's like you got to find these people because they are trying to keep this stuff going because everybody's like pick a lane, like you said. Shouldn't be no box. Yeah. Good music, either you like it or you don't. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but part of the problem, and I don't know whether you and Zach have to think about it, is we've had conversations, me and Zach, but too much of the radio control is controlled by a limited amount of folks. There's some serious monopolies going on. I know they're talking about monopolies and control, but when you talk about radio and the concert lane, particularly the professional concert lane, once you get past Live Nation and a couple of the other players, there are not as many players as there should be, in my mind. I just wanted y'all's thoughts around that because we've got to find some way to break those boxes up or kind of like break those monopolies, because right now the music industry, and I would argue the commercial radio industry, is too monopolized.
Yeah, and it didn't happen overnight. I can remember when people were telling me about iHeartRadio. They were buying up all these smaller stations. Mm-hmm. And I forgot, we was on an interview and the host, he kind of just lost it because they was trying to shut them down. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to warn people then. He said, if they get control, then you're not going to be able to hear anything other than the 10 records they want you to hear.
Exactly.
And so it's been going on. And so along with radio, like you said, they also got to grab the live venues.
Mm-hmm. They took everything. They monopolized it.
Yeah.
You know, because let's think, when Magic Johnson had his theaters, he said, okay, so we can make the black movies, where we going to show them?
Yeah.
Here's the other way they shut you out. Well, no,
right.
we ain't going to do this. He said, so you got to have your own theaters.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you said, it's going to come to the promoters that are still around, is that either you're going to have to use, because there's some theaters, depending on where you live, that they've been restoring, and this is where a lot of shows are starting to happen, because just like you said, okay, we can't get the Garden. Okay, so now up in Harlem, there's a theater that's been up there from back in the day that rivals Radio City Music Hall.
Right.
This is what we got to do then.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, because eventually, again, the money always changes people's mind.
Yep.
No sooner they see if there's a movement of funk stuff, of course they're gonna want to get in on that.
Yeah.
But they want you to do all the work first.
Yeah, Zach, I was just gonna say the legwork is what's killing people off, because so many pure funk stars have passed on without their proper regs and flowers. Now we know them, but to the public, if I pick up 10 people, maybe one may know George Clinton was born down here in Kannapolis. Maybe one may know Nina Simone was born here. Maybe called, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, how do you not know there was a Black Wall Street here? How do you not know that the Hayti back in 1936 to the 40s, whatever, had 26 Black-owned businesses, which is why it was called the Hayti? Right. Mark, I did the research on that, bro. I'm coming at you today with facts, bro. Facts, bro. I did it. I studied that shit. Yo, 1930s to 40s. Yo, so I'm like you said, Kev, it's here. The property, the land, the place, the weather. We can have more outdoor venues here than, say, places in the north, because the weather's warmer all the time. Right. So that's another thing. There should be an Eno festival every freaking month. There should be a Shikori festival every month. It took me 5 to 6 years to get on the Eno festival last year. 5 freaking years.
No, you're right. There need to be those festivals on a regular basis, and there definitely needs to be that legacy connection, because one of the greatest comedians and somebody that Richard Pryor admired was also from right here in North Carolina and all in that space. But a lot of folks, if you ask them who that Big Meat Markham is, they would have no clue. But Big Meat Markham was right here and from Durham as well. But he was actually, that whole Here Comes the Judge routine was actually born from right out of this area.
Hey, I didn't know that y'all had a hockey team.
You didn't know we had what?
They already won a cup too. They had a cup too. They got a cup like back in the early 90s or some shit. They got a cup.
I saw them saying yesterday, said in Raleigh. I was like, oh, when they get a hockey team.
Had the hockey team.
They be rocking too. Right. The Hurricanes, they be in it. They down here. The Hurricanes.
Right now, 2-0. They up 2-0.
Right. I was going to say, that's how I saw it. I was like,
but speaking of sports, we got that other team up there that I know that Zach is a big fan of, and they're definitely giving Miami a rough time. So I think that they're 1-1. So we're gonna see if they can't make it to the
my Knicks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm rocking my Spreewell. Yo, Kev, I went back. I got my Spreewell. I went back on him today, bro. New York.
Don't slap me, buddy.
New York in the house. Yo, I went back on him. I got a whole section in my closet. Knicks.
Yeah.
They're looking tough, though. Y'all brought up something else
man.
earlier I was just curious about, because I remember also, I hate to say it, but yeah, I remember growing up and listening to the music, and it was all kinds of different music, because that's the kind of household that I grew up in as well. And yes, I do remember Hee Haw, and I also remember those TV theme songs. So those TV theme songs were no joke and everything. So, Kevin, I probably need to know this, but I don't know it because Zach hasn't told me. Have you ever dealt with a TV theme song, and have you ever thought about it with all these new TV series that are coming out?
No, I do more themes for people's podcasts.
Okay.
That's about it. I just signed to what they call Street Beats, so they do stuff like that. And you know, they do music for NBA and stuff like that you hear playing. But yeah, I've done something for people's podcasts. But that's it, because you know, again, that particular thing, like major network TV, you know, people have that locked in. They have that locked down.
Yeah.
And they're not as creative they used to be either.
Mm.
You know, because again, think about we were hearing full orchestras for some of these theme songs and stuff like that. And now they're like, hey, get a guitar player and just do something, and there it is.
You know, because Quincy Jones did the theme for Sanford and Son. Right. Now, if you listen to that, and I don't know if the Brothers Johnson was with him then or whatever, but that stuff was kicking.
Those were major productions.
There were a couple of songs that had a funk beat to it. I mean, I think that the beat to Welcome Back Carter had a little bit of a funky beat to it. Mm-hmm. Definitely the one you're talking about, Sanford and Sons, I would argue Happy Days and even the Jeffersons. So there were a couple of those old TV songs, including some of those.
The Jeffersons for sure. Gospel up the yin yang. Move it on up.
Yep.
And even some of the police songs shows back in the 70s and 80s had that.
And what was the singer, Then Came Maud? I forgot who sang that. Oh man, I just saw a thing on that. It was a black singer who sang the Maud thing. Oh, Donny Hathaway sang Maud. He sang the thing for Maud. Yep. So yeah, I mean it was major. And commercials were the same way.
That's right.
You know, Nancy's sister was considered the jingle queen. She
I remember. She said, that
stuff. Yeah. Shout out to Nancy. Maybe she's still watching.
She is. She's quick commentating. I'm getting back to her.
I've known Nancy since I think I might have met her when she just had graduated out of high school. Because John knew it before I did. But I knew John. I met John in his senior year.
Yeah.
And so they both would have been graduating that same year. But yeah, man, Nance. I know she's been on the show, but she only scratched the surface too.
I know.
With her, man, that she's the full package.
There's layers to peel back, and believe me, that's why I keep having y'all on recurringly, so we can constantly because see, for me, this is such a thing, and I don't mind telling people I pay for this myself. Sometimes people help me. P-Funk Radio will send, different sponsors, whatever, but I pay for this myself. But I do it because I want to make sure I put my bricks in the pyramid, documenting everything I can. So years from now, when, we all doing something else in another place, people can pull up the word funk and some of this will pop up. Okay. And they'll be like, oh, wow, this is how they was rocking back in 2023, 2070. Right. You know what I'm saying? They pull it up and we here.
Exactly. Hey, we always talked about the fact that you can't complain if you not contributed to anything.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh man, this music out here, man, ain't playing nothing. Then you can just either go. So where's yours? Yep. Give me an option. Where's yours at?
Yep.
That's what I tell anybody. I say, I ain't gonna complain. I'm gonna put my own stuff out.
Yeah.
I can't keep complaining. Oh, they keep doing the same stuff. Well, if you're not putting out anything that's giving people an option, then how can you keep saying anything?
Amen. Yo, gentlemen, We got about like 15 or 20 left because we just running the show. But Kev, I know you got to get out. But I do want to touch on one important subject. Mark, hang out with us for a minute, right? And for everybody out there that's been active on the chat line for our anniversary show, God bless you all. I swear to God, one day we're going to have some shirts and hats for you for free. So just give us a little time to get some money together. You guys have been amazing. And shout out to Max Distro, who I'm in negotiating with through Mark Lee to get us put on major platforms. We're waiting on the budget for that. So that's coming. We got a few things that we're going to try to blow this up a little bit in our third year. But I have to touch on this because it's important. Because, again, it's not even like mid-spring and it's open season on Black people getting shot. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Kev, I'm gonna let you go, and then Mark, I'm gonna let you jump in, man, because the kid that went to the door by accident, that bothers me.
And it wasn't the only one. I think the very next day, a girl got killed up here. I think somewhere in New York, upstate maybe. Well, her friends and them drove into a wrong driveway.
Yeah.
And the dude opened fire from his porch. Mm. Now, they realized this ain't the place, so they turned around. Nobody even got out the car. And he just shot at the car. So, I mean, how do you even explain that? And mind you, they were all European American. Right. So, the girl that got killed
made a mistake.
First of all, he didn't even see him. He just shot because somebody driving. So, I mean, I don't even know how do you address that, man?
The paranoia.
People have lost their minds. Which brings you to the gun part, and I gotta say, I'm not one for going, there's too many guns. It's the mindset. This country's always had guns. Mm-hmm. It's the mindset now. In the South, I mean, I used to play my grandfather's shotgun. Every house had a gun in it, but nobody was out there shooting each other. It's here. That's what it is. You could have an AR-15 and you like to target practice and never get to the mindset that I got to shoot a person because we disagreed. That's all up here. That's not the gun. The gun will sit in the corner and never move.
That's right.
Unless you go pick it up.
That's right.
But it's just people's mindset that's the issue right now, because it's like if it wasn't guns, then everybody gonna start stabbing each other.
Yeah.
Because that whatever's going on within the person, that's coming out somehow. If they gotta take a spoon and dig their eye out, you know what I'm saying? That aggression. So just it's about a weapon of choice, but it's gonna be to where it's like, we came up with people went with hands. But guess what? We see each other next time and go, you want to go another couple of rounds, but at least you lived.
And if you lost or won, it would be like, all right, that's squash now. Because the older brother would step in and be like, okay, y'all got that out your system.
I went at it. Exactly. I went at it.
Now let's get on with life.
Right. And, that's my thing. Like they said, hey, I can have a bunch of 5 and 6 year olds shoot out the car door as I'm driving. So where somebody think that's a man, I don't know. You can have kids do that.
Yep.
But part of it is I'm wondering about this whole nature, and I know that we didn't have any control over what happened in terms of the pandemic, but with isolation and with the craziness of the world, and we've seen a whole lot of craziness, whether it's been the way we've treated our youth, and particularly the law enforcement has treated our youth, and whether we're seeing these wars and all of the stuff that's going on. Like I've said on this show before, I don't have any kids of my own, but I do have my 2 nephews that are about to be 14 and 15 in August. And I'm just thinking about what they have gone through since they first came in this world in 2008 and 2009. We're not even talking about the ones who were born in 2001 when we first had that first terrorist attack back in that space. So I do sometimes wonder if all these factors and isolation haven't added to the mental stress, because if they say that we are in the middle of a even deeper pandemic because of what's going on in that mental space and everything, I don't know that any of us were given any sort of tools to deal with it, and I think a lot of us are trying to figure out how to work around that and everything. So I think
that has a lot to do with it, that people don't know how to articulate what they're feeling. Like you said, there's a lot of when people hear the word mental illness, people like to go, "Oh, to somebody that's crazy." And if I got a cold, I'm ill.
Mm-hmm.
So so mental illness is like, yeah, I have some issues. This stuff bothers me. I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because again, going to a therapist, people looked at you like something's wrong with you, and I'm like, okay, so a person that goes to a therapist to me is actually trying to get themselves help.
That's right. That's right.
It shouldn't be looked down like, oh, you go to a therapist, you must be crazy.
Yep.
Well, I'm trying not to be. That's
right.
why I'm going through it. I'm looking for some help.
That's right. And I agree with you 100% because I tell everybody all the time on the show, I see a therapist, I ain't ashamed of it. And Kev, like you said, everybody's suffering from PTSD and are in denial about it.
Right.
The whole world right now is trying to figure out PTSD because we all had to reassimilate in whatever life thing we was doing. That was hard as you know what.
Right. Yeah, and people deal with situations in different ways. Like they said, domestic violence, of course, went up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was already happening, but now you really can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So the person that's doing the violence, they lock down.
Yeah.
And it's that. And so like you was going back to the shooting starting. Again, we've been here long enough to go, none of this is new.
No.
None of this is new. I can remember the first kid that I remember getting shot when I was 12 because he was our same age because he had came to our Boy Scout meeting once and he didn't stay. And he got shot by, the excuse has never changed. Oh, I thought he had a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So again, how that weighs on us, Zach, we done had to come up with that.
Yeah.
From back then, the same thing, being that age and seeing somebody our age get, gunned down by the cops, and the excuse still works.
That's right. That's right.
Because I thought he had, something in his hand and turned out to be a can of soda.
Yeah.
Can soda, but not only that excuse, but the other thing is how often after the shooting happens have we heard, whether it's now in 2023 or whether it was in 1980, that there are those quote unquote warning signals, and everybody is always quick to tell you that they knew the warning signals after it happened. I'm like, well, if you know after it happened, why didn't you deal with it then? But then on the flip side of that, there have been cases, including one recently, where the people did what you're supposed to do, which is get in touch with law enforcement, and law enforcement basically told them we can't do anything till they do something. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
You got to actually
that's
action.
That especially with the order protection.
Right.
What a waste. All it is a paper trail.
Right.
It's a paper trail. So it's something you got to do. Now, I ain't advocating no violence. I'm advocating protecting yourself. Right? My daughters, when they was younger, I told them I told my daughter to get a gun license. Right? I said, because here's the thing. If you ever found yourself in that situation, you always got to make the paper trail.
Yeah.
If you had order protection.
That's right.
You see him, blow his brains out.
Yeah.
And then you worry about dealing with the system later. I said, because that's all that paper is good for.
Yeah.
It's not going to protect you. Because the police show up after the fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You shot now, or he done did you in, and now they come. Oh, they had an order protection. So
That's right. And shout out to police officers.
Right. I said the order protection is for you when you did what you had to do. It's like, well, I had this and he broke it.
Yeah, that's
Good
right.
night.
And shout out to all the good cops out there, because I know there's plenty of you. So we ain't bashing none of y'all. It's the ones that y'all know who y'all are. But shout out to all the good men and women that put their self on the line every week. And like you said,
I got plenty of family that's on the job.
Yeah.
Like you said, at the same time, people need to recognize what happens to the good cops that we see. Somebody steps in because this guy's handcuffed, and so they jump in and stop the cop from beat. What happens to those cops, man? You hear about them. Oh, they got put on some crazy duty now. They out there.
Blackball.
Right. I said, so people need to recognize that. That's why some of them cops don't do nothing, because they know it's going to happen. That just shows you the system is corrupt.
That's right.
From the head.
From the top.
The sergeant is corrupt, if you get in trouble for doing what you're supposed to do.
That's right. The lady got fired and
Right.
she sued the black lady. She said,
Right.
"Yeah, man." She said, "I knew this shit was wrong." You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it.
And she won her case, and she's an
That's
activist because now y'all dealing with an activist who was in the system.
Yep.
I know just how y'all operate.
That's right. That's right.
And all I did was what I was supposed to be doing.
That's
and,
right.
and it's always happened.
That's right.
I mean, let's go back to what's the movie French Connection?
Yeah.
What'd he do?
Yep.
He got that money. He's supposed to turn it in. Do you know they looked at him like something was wrong? Like, yo, we can't trust you. You turned in the money.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, anybody see the sick mindset of corruption that you're not
Serpico. Yeah, Serpico.
Because he did his job?
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of Serpico, Zach, and I know we're getting ready to wind down, but this has been a great show y'all have, and I was listening just about the whole time and everything. Did have to run a couple of quick errands, but within the building. But there's another issue that I was dealing with before the show started, and I know we ain't got time to deal with it in its entirety, but I am still shocked at the fact that we're dealing with homelessness, because there was actually a gentleman that came by and was actually telling me about his situation, and definitely gave a great sob story. Some people thought that it was a person that was still dealing with other drug issues as well. But the fact that we live in this society and there is a veteran, because that's what he claimed he was, so I'm gonna take him at his word, that is dealing with homelessness, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But I don't know whether y'all got any thoughts around this, because I'm going like, we live in the greatest country in the world and we got folks that are homeless here and everything, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, again, that's when we say the term greatest country in the world, I don't see how we can be
exactly
when that's happening. Like, where are you a leader in showing the rest of the world and you got the same issues and don't have to have them?
Yep.
You'd spend, like we say in any city, they'll spend easily $1 million for some type of celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And let's move the homeless people out the way so nobody won't see them. The mindset to that is sick.
Yeah.
It's sick. They the prince whatever king getting installed. I'm like, people are like, what do I want to see that for? They got homeless people there too.
Yeah.
Yet they will spend all that money for a show instead of just like, okay, now you're the king. Let's get on with it.
Yeah.
They ain't got to be to that magnitude, because you could be putting them dollars somewhere else.
That's right.
And it's the same way in any city, man. Yep. Every city has that, and yet you get more people with, tent cities. Well, y'all can't be here, so where can we go? The city owns plenty of buildings, especially when we lived in New York. We know that for a fact.
That's right.
Hey, y'all own these buildings. All y'all do is fix them up, and y'all can get rid of this homeless problem.
Yep.
Not just the cities, the colleges. Me and Zach live not that far from a major university, and there are major universities all over the place, and half of those universities, those buildings are, if not empty, at least half empty, because they never went back into the classroom. So if they're just half empty, they seem to me they could be used for hotels or places to keep those homeless. But that's just logical to me.
I'm a big advocate, Mark, for the homeless, because I know what that's like to sleep in my car, because I've done it. And it's like when a person tries very, very hard, and I had 3 jobs at the time, but when a person tries very, very hard to overcome something, all they're asking for is the opportunity. The opportunity is not necessarily saying, "Oh, give me a handout." The opportunity is like, listen, I can put tax dollars back in the system if you allow me to. And every place, like you said, Kev, every state in this country, the homelessness is through the roof because they raising rents, gentrifying people out, and pretty soon it's going to be like that movie, The Hunger Games. I keep telling people the way that the Illuminati cabal work, they tell us stuff 10 to 15 years in advance, and then it be happening. I'm telling y'all, lock down, because I'm telling you it's going to be like that, because we are at that point now.
Right. And on top of that, and nothing against helping people from other countries. When you supposedly the richest, you should be doing that. But the slap in the face is you kind of find out people from Ukraine can come into the country and sign up. And this is what I seen on the news. They can sign up for Social Security. Like, I don't even understand how that's possible, because Social Security comes out of people's money when they work. The government had nothing to do with that. That's not a budget.
That's our money.
They're taking that from you.
That's our money.
Somebody have access to that. I said, wait a minute. So you can come over and just do that, and yet you'll run somebody through the ringer who needs help now. That's here, that's paid into this country, been paying, now they lost their job, but you paid into the system. And this is what you allow, and then you wonder why people go on shooting sprees. Like you say, then people just snap. It's like, are you kidding me?
Exactly. Right.
It totally snap. But not only that, Kevin, but we give all that millions, if not billions of dollars to the folks over there in the Ukraine. Guess what? There's a war in Somalia. There's a war in a number of other places.
Right.
How much are we giving them, and how are we giving it just to one country and giving it disproportionately to them when there are people that need that aid, whether it's because of war or famine or a number of other things that are in the black and brown parts of the world and all in that space.
And there's a war right here in this country.
Right.
Amen.
Every city talking about how do we stop everybody from killing each other? Well, we don't have a budget. Well, stop sending billions of dollars out right now and go, we got to take care of home and hope we can get back to y'all.
And y'all check this out, right? We hanging out with Kev, of course, Kevin Harrrington, Cage Entertainment, Kenny and Jams, Mark Lee, producer. 30th anniversary show to kick off this month is amazing. But I got to add this. You and I know this because we're all old enough to remember. And this is how government works. And they're going to kill me for this. I don't really care because I'm saying it. I liked it better when the mob ran the country. It was much better. And I'm going to tell you why. The mob made sure the working class people got taken care of through unions, dental, health, death benefits, bereavement or kid paternity, whatever, glasses, all of that for free. You paid your union dues. Yeah, you had to pay a little bit. I had 3 different choices of healthcare to pick from, all top shelf. Tia Bush, Powell Insurance, and Aflac and stuff when you got hurt. The mob ran the country in such a way, yeah, they did this business, and they did it in a business way, but they didn't allow the working class people to suffer because they knew they needed the working class people, the mom and pops. The government, like you said, Kev, always waits till the model gets completely fixed, 99%, then they go and take it. So what the government did is, you know what? This mob thing, man, they got it pretty good. They got it going on. They got everything working smoothly. Everything's getting where it got to be. No shortages of nothing. You ain't bringing in crates of guns. The neighborhoods were safe because you knew whoever ran that neighborhood was not going to allow any craziness to a point. Now the government says, let's just take that model and we're going to take that last 2% from the working class people. Screw them. You know what I'm saying? Screw them. Yeah, got rid of all the unions. And that's where this country was down. That was the downfall.
Pretty much it's like we're going to take from you and we're not going to let you eat either.
That's right.
Right.
That's the difference. Like you said, everybody knew the mob was taking off the top. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew that's what was going on. But you was eating.
Yeah.
You was eating.
You
and
was eating.
Like, yeah, we just going to take it and you ain't eating either.
Yep.
Well, I mean, so in some ways, the biggest mob of them all is what you just said, the government. Because like I said, how many times have we got folks that are delivering drugs into our community? And I don't know many folks that are even in that dealership space that own their own plane. So you can't tell me that there's not some government kind of cooperation going on in there in order for those things to happen in our community and where they are targeted and all in that space.
And then they'd be like, yo, this weed thing, they've been making money. We're going to make that legal now.
Right. But you know, and everybody saw it. Well, you know, I didn't say everybody, but for people that looked at that, either you was here at Prohibition or you read about it, that you knew that until they could map it out how they was going to make their money off of it, it stays illegal. Well, they finally came to, okay, so we figured it out. Now it could be legal.
Bingo.
That, you know,
but that's on everything. You
right.
know, they give a hard time to brothers and sisters because a lot of brothers and sisters are getting involved in crypto and they're getting involved in the crypto space. Guess what? Now the government's getting ready to get involved in it because they're gonna try to figure out a way to make
how we
money
get out. How we gonna get our money out of this? Because that would be a problem, but they don't get nothing.
Right.
You know, but I mean, but that's how they do anything. It's like, especially like you said, once we learn the game, they got to change it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They got to change it. So you see now people giving advice like, look, this is what the rich do, you know, because again, there's so much more black money in this country. Like I said, all you got to do is watch any athletic draft and you see the new millionaires. So like you said, Zach, there's no shortage of black money no more. That can't even be said anymore.
No, that's not an excuse.
It can't. Again, but here's the problem. What are they doing with that money? Is it coming back to neighborhoods? No, that's an issue. That's an issue. Somebody here just said, what about the athletes making all this money? Okay, that's an ownership thing. Now, owners paying that, but where the owners getting the money?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get more like
paying $75 to watch somebody bounce a ball. That's just me personally.
Me neither.
I'm not doing that.
No.
That's where the money comes from. And TV money, advertising. So an advertiser spends millions of dollars to show you something that I want you to go out and buy.
Yep.
It's a cycle.
It is.
This country is into the buy. You know, I gotta have this because they tell you that. Hey, you're gonna be better than that person if you have this. Yeah, you're right. So I'll go ahead and pay $200 for that. Meanwhile, the country was made it, the person made $3 a week.
Yep.
That makes the American the sucker, but hey.
They showed the video of the people making the mask. Yo, it was on a dirt floor in some place, Bangladesh, and they was sitting around, and the caption was, "This is where COVID comes from," because they had no mask on. They was literally, they was sitting in the damn dirt. In the dirt. The dirt. Making a sanitary product. Dude, it's on YouTube. Watch it.
We ain't got time to talk about how they poisoning us with the food, man.
That's another show. We'll get into the third eye on the next episode. Yo, Kev, man, it's been a blast. Mark, thank you. Kev, I'm going to give you the last word. Then I'm going to bring you back on. We're going to get out of here with some Jamaica funk in tribute to your home, man. So I'm going to give you the last word. Mark, I'm going to take both of y'all out, all right?
No problem.
All right, man.
Congratulations again, man, to you and Mark, man, on the 3rd anniversary of the show, man. Keep doing what you're doing, Zach. Like I said, man, it's needed, man. So I know sometimes you may get down, but it's needed. You don't have some great people on here that I would have never knew about. And thanks for having me on, man. Thanks for having me and Nance, you know, when you have us, man. And I appreciate it. And I thank you for coming on my show. And hey, that's it for me, man. Everybody do what they got to do. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, man. I want to come on your show again, man. We get ready to get out of here. It's been amazing. Funk from the front seat, 3 years running. And Kev, you got my word as my brother, my heart, my blood. I'm gonna keep doing this, man.
Yeah, man.
I ain't gonna give up. I need everybody out there to understand where this brother comes from. Right here. You feel me? Right here, Jamaica. We're going to give y'all a full 9-minute mix because this is an anniversary show. Clap your hands like this. Squeeze. New York. Go New York. Go New York. Go New York. Go. Brooklyn. They want Long Island. Charlotte. Westchester. All right. Philadelphia. What up? Maryland. Shopping City, D.C. Jersey, heard P-Funk Plainfield. Virginia, where you at? Let me put on my sunglasses so I can see what they ain't looking at. North and South Carolina. Oh, Georgia, Florida. New Orleans. Tom Brown, we love you, man. Kevin Harrrington, my man. Kevin in jail. KHX Entertainment today. And all of y'all out there, thank you for the shout out. I love you all. California, Nevada, Utah, North and South Dakota, Alaska, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Tokyo, Yo, China, Japan, Germany, Ireland, what's up, Elizabeth, I love you. Topolino in Italy, I love you. Brendan, Ohio, Boosie and Patty, clap those hands, come on. Hawaii, Samoans doing the Humpty Hump. Humpty Hump. Ukraine, Russia. Peru, Pugo Pugo. Africa, the whole continent. Iraq, Iran. Dubai. Minneapolis. What's up, Vanessa? Thank you for the hat. Vanessa Bartholomew, hook me up. The man Hannah, Minneapolis. Woo! I got the whole world clapping their hands right now. Detroit. New York Knicks, I got you. Nothing but the funk. Peace, love, and harmony, y'all. Let's ride. Georgia, fucking man. Shout out to my man Funk the Drill Santiago. I love you, bro. Tony Cam, what up, Jackie? I love you, Linda. Sorry for your loss, Linda China. Happy Headphone Bombing 2.0 next Friday at the Pinhook, y'all.
Yeah.
God is good. Stay home. Nothing but the funk. Funk from the front seat. 9 on the Grind TV. 3 years. Alright? Woo! I love you, CB. Shout out to my girl, Dawn. What's up, Dawn? I know you watching. Y'all have a good night.
Stop waiting in line. Your paper is just
nothing but a party. Funk from the front seat. 9 on the Grind TV. Our special guest today was Mr. Kevin Harrrington. Great show. I love you, man, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Yep.
We out of here.
All right, y'all.
Peace. Nothing but the funk.